Night Swim is now out playing in theaters. Alright, so this is the newest horror film from Blumhouse Productions, and it is based off of a short film that was uploaded to YouTube a couple years ago. The guys who made it are now making a feature film for the studio, which is not the first time we've seen this. I mean, this has worked before with Lights Out, for example. That's a short film that turned out to be a pretty decent horror movie. So sometimes you get Lights Out, sometimes you get Night Swim. Yeah, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. Movie ain't good. When it comes to the original short film that you can watch on YouTube, it's a very simplistic, eerie setting with a woman swimming in a pool, sees a figure, all of a sudden the woman disappears. Now, the same guys who made that short made this movie. They wrote it, they directed it, they did the screenplay, the stories by them, and it's very clear in the movie that besides the concept of seeing this figure and disappearing under the water in the pool, they didn't really know where else to go with that, and you really feel that with Night Swim. Because this movie takes this simplistic little short film and bloats it out into this lore and this history and this bigger haunted story that overall for me really did not work. Now, what did work in this movie? Well, the actors were decent. I enjoyed the family aspect that this movie introduces with this family led by Wyatt Russell as they move into this house where there's this haunted pool. I thought all the actors within the family did a pretty decent job, but that's kind of where my positives end with this movie. Because let's talk about the star of this movie, and that is the haunted pool. They try so desperately to make this pool scary. They try to give you shots of this pool being eerie. They try to give you shots where it looks like this pool is menacing. They want this pool to be the Jaws of all pools. What Jaws did for sharks and oceans, they want this pool to do for swimming in pools. And they just don't accomplish it for me. At no point is this pool scary. It just looks ridiculous every time they hover over this pool and they're trying to get you freaked out by this pool. It just wasn't working. And another big contributor of that is the scares, because the scares in this are so generic and you see them coming a mile away. Now, I'm pretty famous on this channel for saying I'm not really a horror guy. I don't watch many horror films. Horror is not my forte, so to speak. And I'm also a big scaredy cat. And I can tell you guys that not once in this movie did I jump. Because all the scares are the same. All the setups for what's about to happen with the spooky ghost people in the pool, it's all the same. It all ends the same. And when you have scene after scene after scene of it always ending the same way, eventually my suspense and the thrills just go away. And mine went away after the first scene. On top of not making this pool scary, the dialogue in this movie is dreadful, and they talk about pools so much. This movie feels like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. The best of the So Bad It's Good Shyamalan films, this movie feels like it's placed right in. If this movie had ended and said directed by M. Night Shyamalan, I would have sat there and been like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because there's a point in this movie, I could feel it in my entire auditorium and with myself, where because it was not scary and because the dialogue was so corny and cliche and filled with so much pool talk, I love the pool. The pool is the best thing that ever happened to me. Those are actual lines in this movie said by Wyatt Russell. And because it just gets so ridiculous and the pace of this movie is so slow and it gets boring, you just can't help but start to laugh at it. And I started laughing and the auditorium started laughing. And Wyatt Russell, there's a point in this movie where I don't know if he just stopped caring or not, but his performance gets really bad and everything that this guy says just had my whole auditorium unintentionally in giggles. And I think that is the worst case scenario for a horror film like this, because it wants to get under your skin. It wants you to take this concept back home with you so that this summer when you're at your friend's pool party, you can't even dip a toe in because, oh, I saw Night Swim. but it doesn't do that at all. It leaves you with a smile on your face that kind of hurts because you've been laughing so much at how silly and goofy and clunky this movie is. And I know that I'm kind of smiling and laughing through this review, and I feel bad saying this because these guys made this really good short film on YouTube, and it got them pulled into the Hollywood scene, and that's a lot of people's dreams, and I want to root for these guys, but I can't lie. This first outing is really kind of embarrassing. I hope they can bounce back. I hope that they can come out with more movies that do get better. We can see them grow as directors, because there were some shots. There were a couple scenes in here that I did think the camera work looked pretty good. I did think they had some cool setups. It's just the execution needs a lot of work. Yeah, I think Night Swim is going to be one of those movies that does get a cult following. I think this is going to have The Room. I think this is going to have the Happening type kind of viewing that people have, where if you have all your friends over, you have some drinks flowing, you're going to throw on Night Swim. But I will say, for me personally, I don't think you should start your year this way, and I am not going to recommend Night Swim, because while I had some unintentional laughs in it, there weren't enough to make me say, go sit through this entire movie to experience these moments of ridiculousness. Well, there you have it, guys. The first movie review of 2024. Hopefully, the year has nowhere to go but up from here. But anyway, guys, those are all my thoughts and opinions on Night Swim. But what did you guys think of Night Swim? Comment down below and let me know. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions about it. And if you're new here and you haven't heard, guys, we killed our goal last year on this channel. You guys got us to 2,500 subscribers so fast, and we have a new goal this year, 4,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed and you like talking about movies, Night Swim, horror movies, or just movies in general, we do that all the time over on this channel. Consider hitting that subscribe button on your way out. We'd love to have you join our little community over here. As always, guys, thank you so much for hearing me out, and I hope to talk to you guys again real soon.